What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode. We're going to hop right in with my man, Trent. He is part of the Arate Syndicate along with me. It's how I got to know this wonderful human being. I'm going to let him explain a little bit about his business, and we're going to hop into some marketing tools and tactics that can hopefully move him forward in the next few weeks.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. First of all, I appreciate it. An honor for me to be, get some personal guidance from you. But my name's Trent Bray. I'm in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I'm the founder of Hustle Energy. It is a entrepreneurship brand that is designed to help those who want to be entrepreneurs escape the 9 to 5 and create an impact through entrepreneurship. Because that's where I was and that's where I wanted to be, is on the other side of that 9 to 5. And I was able to do it. And now I want to help others do it as well.
Make sure you talk to them about that super awesome energy drink you've got rolling too, man.
Yeah.
That's
So
so tasty. So tasty.
Yeah. So the primary product that started this whole journey it's called Hustle Focused Energy. It is primarily a focus drink mix. It does provide some energy, but it doesn't do it with caffeine. You get a lot of that elsewhere. You don't need it here too. So it is primarily, like I said, a focus product, but it's a powder drink mix. Mix it with 16, 20 ounces of water. And honestly, I spent 3 years of nonstop trying to get this thing to work, and it's finally here.
The hustle. And the beer definitely shows the work ethic on it too.
Yeah, some patience. It took some patience.
Patience, man. All right, so let's hop into some marketing. What can I help you with? Where are you looking to go? Kind of tell us where you're going and what that looks like in the future for you.
Absolutely. So I definitely need your help. So what this all started out as is it was going to be more of an energy product. And so I designed and wrote the copy and all that based on it being more of an energy product. And, through trial and through feedback, people were pushing against the caffeine, and I totally understand that and relate to that. And so it became more of an emphasis on the focus. And so everything on there, for whatever reason, people keep telling me it looks like a pre-workout. They keep telling me, you know what, I think this is a pre-workout. And even people I've sent the product to and explained what it is, they still feel like it is a pre-workout, which it is not. It doesn't have any of the, beta alanine, some of those things that help give you the pump. It doesn't have any of that in there. So I need to totally rebrand things so people have a clear message. And I don't know where to start because I'm a one-man show. I'm too close to it, so I need that outside perspective.
Yeah, totally. And we get this too. So kind of from what I'm hearing is that we really need to focus on shifting the lens of how the perception of the product is being interpreted by what your consumers are giving back to you, what social media is saying back to you, and kind of fixing that echo chamber a little bit to more closely align with the brand.
Right. And I also have run a little PPC campaigns, and I'm getting great conversions on the social side. But when they get to my site, there's some sort of disconnect where they're not converting there. So I realize there could be an issue with branding. It could be an issue with copy. This is where I need your help.
Cool. I just enabled sharing. Why don't we pull up your website real fast so we can kind of walk through some of that. This is super common. I see this all the time where it happens more with Ecomm than anything else, because you're dealing with such levels of influence and persuasion up front of trying to get people to engage with it first before they actually purchase. So there's a lot of that weird kind of energy around it. All right, so this is what they see first when they land on it, and it's hustle.energy for everybody that's tuning into this, possibly on Spotify or SoundCloud.
Yeah. So I've reached out to a couple of people, and the first thing that they said was this video was the first thing that showed up, and they felt like I needed to have that more below the fold. And so that's where this came in. Unfortunately, I've got some work to do. It kind of hides the menu at the top, and so the menu drops down as you scroll down. And then talks about the taste, the focus, what I want it to accomplish, and then lead you into the product and the blog.
All right, so let's go back up and let's kind of take this through line by line. So why the product? This is super common as far as a copywriting kind of formula, right? We impose a question that's meant to kind of lead them down a line, and we start to formulate it off of that proposition or based off of a nagging question or a pain point, but it really doesn't come back to the product until a few lines down. One of the things that kind of instantly throws me off is I'm having a hard time of where my eye is supposed to look first. You may have the advantage of people are coming to this on mobile and it feels a little bit more guided in that way. But when I'm first landing on this, my eyes, I have to push them over to the right side of the screen more than they're being guided over there to read the text. And it's because when we look at those feet coming into that first image, those feet have leading lines on them. So where are those leading lines going? Further into the middle where it's not directing me towards something.
Okay.
So I would look at that format. I like that so before we hop into the video, I like that it's kind of split bar like that. But what type of vibrant, like this has nothing to do with a product, right? It shows the lifestyle of kind of like living on the edge. So what could we do to throw the product first thing, right? Because you're not going to get people to scroll down below the fold if they don't know what they're scrolling down below the fold for. And typically that's going to be through video or imaging more than it's going to be through text. So as I'm looking at this, I'm cool with it being side stacked, like image to text, but on the left side, show me the physical product.
Okay.
Especially if the rest of it's going to be based off of.
Okay. So would you do more of a like lifestyle image with the product on the left or just straight product?
I'm almost thinking like, so if you scroll back down, you have the product in like the typical jar that it comes in. Yeah. I would show, because it mixes in with water, right?
It does. Yep.
I would see what type of like Photoshop overlay you could do of like water over crossing and like crisscrossing or like wrapping around the actual bottle itself more than it's being shown anywhere else on there. Like I wouldn't mind it being plugged into like a camera bag there, right? And like using other elements of like how it fits into your life. But I wouldn't focus on, all right, so let's go back. So I see this too a lot. The product is hidden inside of other things, right? You're building the brand around it, but it's all very dark on top. If you're going to use contrast like that, we really need to use other levels of contrast besides darkness, especially if that image itself is already kind of dark. I get trying to have the red and white be pulled out of it. I get it from that perspective. I don't even mind that there's the gold Nikon camera or Canon camera ring down there.
Yeah.
Actually, that might be a Tamron based off of that. But anyway, I don't mind that being in there. But I would look at where else is that being used. If you're talking about it being for the entrepreneur, could you put it next to a desk stacked up with papers, right? Or could you put it inside of other areas of their life besides a camera bag too, to kind of be shuffled through? Somebody that absolutely nails product photography in this way, if you haven't checked out his channel yet, is Peter McKinnon. And he's a professional photographer that does a lot of product shots. He's worked with Tom DeLonge and Angels and Airwaves and does a lot of their branding stuff as a whole. He's done copy, he's done playing cards, magic cards and stuff like that. He does a really good job of teaching kind of how to compile a lot of this together. So let's go back up to the top. I would take that type of like vertical product image and put like the water wrapping around it with whatever color the water is for that flavor. So if it's fruit punch, the mind instantly goes, because we've been so trained from Gatorade, Powerade, all these other liquid companies. I want it to be bright cherry red wrapping around. You could also throw the hustle energy a little bit smoother down into that text and make it a little bit more bold. And that way you don't have to have it repeat that many times on the first few things. So I'm getting hustle, hustle, hustle 3 times in the first, like, above the fold section of this.
Yeah.
But if you make that in the main staple image, then we can change the text on the other side to gear more towards that individual and more towards that demographic. So that's when I would start to come in and say, I'm sorry, I'm reading through the text here. Like, I would make it more about the business owner at that point, because we've jumped into the text on the right-hand side, and I see it says, for those that are listening, hustle energy was born from all the obligations of the day, work, family, gym, friends, and trying to hustle all that to work on the next great business idea. I didn't have the focus of all that. I needed more. I needed focus energy for my hustle. I wanted more than the 9 to 5. I wanted to take on the world ready to focus. This is speaking to I. We need to speak to them.
Okay.
Right? So flipping that script a little bit, we should really consider positioning it of like, what tools in your tool belt are allowing you to optimize at your greatest level? We know that work, right, and it's not exactly verbatim for this in any way, but flipping that script, if you're already going to the gym, you're already putting in the hours, you're already putting in the hustle, here's what's going to allow you to take it to that next level without it being placed on me and my story. Because we haven't introduced you as a character yet, right?
True.
So if we haven't introduced you as the character, how can we start saying I? This would be a really great story in more depth further down the page, or if you did like an owner intro video later on the page, that would be a great place to put that. I haven't watched that video of Hustle Harder yet, so I don't know if that's already built into that.
No, it isn't. It's honestly, it was again created a while back. It is a bunch of stock footage of people working basically. And then at the end, it's however you hustle harder with hustle energy. So
cool. I mean, a lot of this comes down to how clearly can we explain this without using text too. So I think that's going to be a common theme that I'm starting to notice throughout this site. And this is with a lot of e-commerce sites too, is are you really telling me what this product is, does, or benefits me for in as few words as possible? We're lazy. So if we scroll back up, my brain is instantly saying I have to read all this to understand what the product is. And I shut off instantly.
That makes sense.
Tell it to me like I'm a 5th grader. I put this amount of packet into this big of a water bottle and I get this result.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. See, this is the stuff I need. I'm too close to this, and I need that perspective.
I mean, the other thing we can look at too is looking at how other industries that are spending multi-millions of dollars on their e-com stores, what's the flow of how they have it set up? You know, they may be buried in, 10 pages of like an e-com store, and they have all that massive infrastructure, but they've spent so much money on design and copywriting and digital marketing experts on this. There's a reason they use that formula. There's a reason it's structured the way that it's structured. So how can we mimic this to our advantage while still keeping it our own?
Okay.
Right? The product's still your own. The mission and the micro and even the macro of what you're doing is still your own. But let's take the system of how they built it.
Okay.
All right, let's keep going, man. I like the idea of recharging your battery.
Yeah.
I like that iconography. All right, so let's look at this next midsection here. Freedom from monotony. you had unlimited focus, imagine what you would accomplish in a day. If you weren't tired at the end of the day, feeling like you've been burning the candle at both ends, Hustle Energy provides a focused energy boost to get you to the next meeting, to crush that workout, to get the foot in the door at the networking event, dominate the Zoom meeting, and making you the best possible, or the best you possible. Yeah. You're ready to change your day-to-day life. Are you looking to have the side hustle overtake your day job? You're in the right place. Can we go back up to the next section? Because you brought up a really interesting point, and I want to see if it's addressed in here yet.
Okay.
All right. So you've already come back and said to me what the biggest mental shift that your customers are going through is that I thought it was a pre-workout, or I thought it had caffeine. I haven't seen it mentioned in here that this is all done without the use of caffeine or stimulants.
Okay.
Right. And if that's going to be massive, I'm thinking about even people that are, older, that have, medications that they take on a daily basis that don't allow them to take caffeine.
Right.
Right. And it's totally being obliterated from the messaging that this is done without that yet. I would almost lead, because they're telling you that's a massive advantage for your product. So let's lead with our best foot forward, just like in marketing and networking events, right? Let's open that door with something that's kind of a shock and a pleasant surprise, or surprise and delight type of idea, right? Which is the strongest form of marketing, surprise and delight. I'm surprising them by the product and what it's able to do for me, but I'm delighting them from the fact of I don't need to be jittery all day. I don't need to have that stimulant effect on my brain where I feel like I'm ping-ponging back and forth, and that I'm not focused in on what I'm supposed to be doing, which is the whole idea of the brand and of the product. So let's lead with that.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And I would dedicate a whole bar to that.
Okay.
I wouldn't make it just one line. Like, honestly, probably the first, like, after we introduce the product of what it is up in that first bar. Yep.
Product here, and then right here where the video is.
I would even consider putting it on the first big text bar right there of what it truly is. Hustle focused energy. And then in big letters, done without caffeine, or whatever that text looks like, of caffeine free, putting that smack dab in there. Cause then my interest is piqued of, okay, how did they do this? Why do I not need caffeine in order to get this level of focused energy? And then below it, that's where I would start to make the case of why having so much caffeine in your diet is affecting your sleep, your focus, the rest of your hormonal system inside the body, and what doing this without caffeine looks like for me in my life.
Okay. Perfect.
And then if that's just a stock video and doesn't actually address who you are, what the company is or does, I would scrap it. Otherwise, it's clutter and it's slowing down the site.
So would you say to have a video that introduces the product and me as a character on the main page, or just have it like up here as kind of an about?
No, I would totally put it on there, and I would tell your story with it. So, hey, my name's Trent Bray. I was searching the market for a product that could fit my life to help get me out of the 9-to-5. Just like you, I was hopped up on coffee, energy drinks all day, trying just to squeeze that extra 5% out of my day. And it wasn't until I found blank, it wasn't until I developed X product that I was able to start performing at this level. It wasn't until I started implementing Hustle Energy as a lifestyle into my day that I started becoming this successful entrepreneur, that I started to become the person that could be the family man, the working man, the community man, and everything that it is inside of my life, until I got my focus and my energy management on track. Here's how I did it. If you want more information, check out the link below, or trust us, we have a 110% product satisfaction guarantee. Boom, move them, keep them moving through the page.
Okay. Perfect. I can definitely do that.
You can even get into that story of freedom. That's where I'm pulling a lot of that from. Freedom from monotony. You and I understand that word.
Right.
Fifth graders.
Okay.
Would a fifth grader understand the word monotony?
Okay. Well, I've got a third grader, so maybe I can start asking her and maybe scale it up a little bit from there, but not much.
Not much. Imagine where that vocabulary is at in a year and a half.
Okay. Cool. And then you finally get into the product. What was that?
Is that the full page?
Yeah. So then you get into the blog and then the footer.
Can I ask why you have what is Shop Pay? Does that put it in payment options?
Yeah, it's built on Shopify. And so that's their standard thing. So this bar right here at the bottom is because I'm logged in.
Right.
But yeah, this is something that Shopify puts in as one of their new options that they have.
There's too many points of friction.
Okay.
So you're already asking them to pick a flavor and pick a quantity. If I were to put another bar down there, it would be either figure out how to do the one-time purchase or make it a recurring 30-day subscription for, 7 to 10% off or whatever those margins look like for you to make that work. Putting that in there as a secondary option as opposed to figuring out a way for them to get it cheaper, because you're going to attract the wrong type of clients. If you're dealing with people, and you can even break it down inside of this, right? Where this is going to give you sustained energy for a month, break out what the cost of buying a Starbucks coffee every day is for them for a month. And then compare the cost of, if you were to buy a Starbucks coffee even 5 days out of your week when you're not working on the weekends. So 5 times 4, 20 days times a $4 order, right? You're dealing with $80 to $100 a month, just trying to keep yourself fueled and primed and ready to go. And by 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're dipping down and you need another one.
Right.
This is here to keep you going all day long because I'm not using caffeine.
Doesn't have the crash. Yep.
Doesn't have the crash.
So when you get to the actual page, it still has that, so we can cut that. But
would it also eliminate more payment options?
Sorry, what was that?
Would it also eliminate that clickable link underneath the Buy with Shop page where it says more payment options?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that, but I would see if I would
figure out if you could get it. Add to cart's fine, right? And that's something where if you want to get them once and then say, okay, look, if after the first purchase you really like it, and this could be in an email drip sequence, this could be in, depending on how many orders you have moving in right now, it could be a personal DM thank you message from you or somebody else on your team saying, hey, we just got your order. Thank you so much. Let us know how you like it. And then after the 30-day window, right, just like you would follow up in any other way with a client, say, hey, we're offering a subscription for this. Next time you check out, let me know and I'll give you the code to be able to unlock that subscription. Whatever that is, right? Give them that follow-up option, but we want to eliminate as many friction points on this part of the page as possible. So that way there's less things for them to think about and it's something that they're used to seeing.
Right.
Okay. You were going to bring up something on this page before I accidentally cut you off.
No, I was just going to say this is where I feel like I'm losing some people because I've run a couple ad sets that direct specifically to this page, and I'm losing conversions here. So I can get them to the page, but I can't convert them here.
So you're just sending them straight to the product page?
Correct.
Okay. Where's the brand for that? So there's 2 parts of Ecomm, right? There's acquisition and retention. And what's funny is that they're kind of on the same side they're on different sides of the equal sign. So we can't ever lose one without the other. And they're always in this weird state of balance. And when we start getting into, a lot of Ecomm, it's really more focused on retention, but everybody wants to focus on the acquisition side by running the Facebook ad to this page. okay, well, you didn't tell me yet how this is going to benefit my life. This is the first time I'm seeing on the page that it's done without the use of caffeine. Mm-hmm. Where if we develop the story and we develop and kind of build the hype around the product, then we can truly get better acquisition costs. Where it's not like we're sending them to us to buy jeans, right? Where either they like it right off the page or they don't based off of the looks. They're not interested in the type of fabric or where it was made or how it was produced, more than they're interested in how they think it's going to look on them. But because we're dealing with something that has to be explained a little bit more, we really need to focus it all on the other side. The other thing that I would say is that if we're going to do a product photography shot next to the add to cart, it has to be purely the product. Because what you'll get in trouble with is, okay, am I actually getting a tripod and a camera bag and a camera and everything else that's in the photo, even though it's blurry?
Gotcha.
Right? So that's something that I've seen a lot of people get swindled on is, well, you said when I added to cart that I was getting my picture, and that's false advertising.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Okay.
I'm okay with you keeping the if I did anything on here, I think you did it 100% right. Listing out what it does, what the flavor is, and how it's going to help me throughout my day, how to use it, how much do I use. Can you scroll down so I can see the rest of it? Customer reviews on there. Perfect. Love that plugin. Is that pulling from Google or Facebook, or is that based on the website?
That's based on the website.
Okay, perfect. Is that it? It doesn't scroll down any. It's just the reviews.
It just goes to more of the reviews.
That's totally fine. I like the header of free shipping of orders over $50, especially if I'm going to buy 2 of them, right? It's automatically getting in there for free shipping. The one thing I would consider using on this is bullet points instead of long text.
Okay.
And then even like where it says take 1 scoop with your water in the morning, I would put like directions or how to use, or best optimized in your day by doing X, right? Guiding them through what each one of those is. Because when the brain sees a paragraph, it instantly says, I have to use energy to read through this. Bullet points are a great way of shortcutting that system of saying, oh, I can easily digest this chunk because there's more spacing.
Yeah. There's actually a review that does that pretty well.
Yeah, exactly. I would almost mimic exactly that. And even on your first landing page that we looked at, looking at how does it not use caffeine or sugar and still gives me XYZ bullet point results.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I've found that people don't like the no sugar, even though there is no sugar, there is a sugar substitute in it. And so my feedback I've been getting is that they don't like the no sugar because it still has a sugar substitute in it. So I've been trying to step away from that a little bit, even though, there's a lot of other people who brand that way. But
could you put it as keto friendly or low carb friendly?
Yeah. I mean, that shouldn't be a problem.
Because, you don't even have it on there as far as you have sucralose, which is probably what you're talking about.
Right.
And beetroot powder is going to be a little bit tart, but it'll also provide a little bit of sweetness in there too.
That's actually how I do the coloring. Because I did a bunch of samples and reached out to my audience and said, what do you think of these samples? And the ones that had any artificial coloring in it was an absolute no, do not use it. And that's fine. So it's actually colored with the beetroot powders. It
awesome.
Kind of gives it that red color, kind of orangish red color.
The natural flavoring and coloring.
Mm-hmm.
How many products do we see that in all over the place? And the word natural already kind of puts you in that realm of, not processed to that degree.
Right.
You already have it there, natural flavors.
Right.
The natural flavor and coloring.
Okay.
Is it one flavor?
Right now it is one flavor. I've been working on other flavors, but I came to market with just one.
That's all right. Get good at one and figure out where the holes in the boat are before you go launch 30 of them.
Right.
And then there's seasonality with flavors too.
True.
So cool, man. Is there anything else you want us to look at on our time here?
No, I think that's where I'm having the most issues. And then from there, this is already a ton of work for me to do, and I love it. Like I've
Awesome.
got a clear vision. So
do you have a Facebook and Google Pixel installed on this?
I do.
Awesome. Even better. Tracking that data, even from the first purchases, is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Dude, I'm glad I was able to help you and give you some direction on this.
Absolutely. It's been a huge help already. I'm excited to dig in and do some of these changes. So.